I used to throw up a lot, like randomly. Like I would just vomit. I would just throw up. Like it was nothing related to an eating disorder. I would just be feeling like I'm going to throw up, and I would gag and gag and gag, and then I would throw up. I went to a doctor this one time, and because I was having a lot of like brain problems, like I had some concussions and things like that. And I was like, hey, also something really random. I just like throw up. Is there any reason why that is? And he was like, well, let me do a gag test. And he like sticks the popsicle stick down my throat. And I almost threw up on him. I didn't. And he goes, wow, you have the worst gag reflex I've ever seen. Like it's so easily gaggy,
Triggered,
you know?
Yeah.
And he said it like ultimately it's an anxiety thing. And so I've noticed like on days where I would have presentations in school, I would gag a lot and sometimes I almost throw up. And over time, I've learned like to kind of calm it down. But today, I've been very gaggy all day. I haven't thrown up or anything, but I just do like a, you know?
Ew.
It's really fucking gross.
Do I need to get you a bowl?
No, I'm not going to throw up. But I just wanted to share that if anybody has gagging problems and they just throw up, which is really niche, me too. You're just anxious and it's going to be okay.
Gross. Anyways, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We will not be talking about throwing up. Hey guys, welcome back to What They Don't Say. Thanks for tuning in.
That was weird.
I know.
Today I'm going to be sharing my story about how I was sexually assaulted.
Our previous episode, we talked about me. And we talked about my sexual assault story. And that's kind of part 1. And so now we're going to dive into part 2, which is talking about Shannon's sexual assault story. And we did it in this order purposefully because mine happened a year prior to when it happened to Shannon's. Mm-hmm. So we recommend that you listen to it in chronological order. If you're listening to this and haven't listened to my episode, I'd go back and listen to that one just to give you context and understanding of who this guy was and how he came into our lives and then just the connection there. So yeah, today Shannon is going to take the spotlight and she's going to dive into however many details she wants to dive into.
As Lauren mentioned, her episode explains a lot about who this person was, who sexually assaulted both of us. So if you didn't know that, we were both sexually assaulted / raped by the same person, which is kind of an odd and niche scenario, but it's just the fact of the matter. And that happened, it was able to happen because this person was really close to my family. And my parents saw this person who we were calling Tyler. His name is not Tyler. It's nothing close to Tyler. We're just using it for purposes, privacy purposes. Any users. This person was basically like a son to my parents. They treated him like a son. When he was at school, he would come over to my house. He would do laundry there. We would have him over for dinners and Bible studies. And we took him out to a really nice restaurant for his birthday. Like he was basically part of the family. My stepdad was his mentor. And that's why he was able to assault you and me and also someone else in our lives. And it kept happening was because we had this kind of narrative over how, quote unquote, what a great guy this person was. Because that was the shield he hid behind.
He was a great guy.
Yeah.
But he was very two-faced. And it took us some time to come to terms with that and realize that. But sometimes people are not who you think they are.
Yeah. So we met Tyler back in, what did we say it was?
2018.
In 2018. Fall. Like Lauren and I met him the same day. And I'm just going to kind of dive in directly into like sexual assault stuff because there's no really other way around it. Tyler at the time was attending the United States Air Force Academy for college. And he had served for 2 years prior to going to college, like in the Army or whatever.
Air Force,
sorry, excuse me, thank you. So he was 24 back in 2019. So Lauren was sexually assaulted in 2018. And my story is going to begin the same day that it did for Lauren, which was the day that I met Tyler. So we met Tyler through some of my mutual friends at church. Our friends introduced us to him. And my family's thing is like, if someone comes to church with us, we take him out to brunch. And so we went out to brunch with this man, as well as like many of my other friends, some of my parents' friends. It was a big group this day. I think there was like 12 or 14 of us at brunch. And this person appeared to be incredibly kind and handsome and just overwhelming, like just a great guy. You know, he's very clean. He's very buttoned up. He held the door for all of us, would pull out the chair for my mom, called her ma'am, and spoke very eloquently from a biblical perspective, from just like, he was just a good speaker. And at this brunch, he shared a lot of details about a lot of the traumas that he'd gone through. And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, like this poor guy has been through so much. And Lauren had said that she felt like it was a little bit weird that he was sharing this much, but I sort of looked at it from like a related standpoint. Like I felt like, oh my gosh, like I've been through a lot of, I've experienced a lot of death and hardships in my life.
I'm just a dick, basically.
You're not a dick. But I was just really kind of taken aback about this person who we had just met was willing to be so vulnerable with us. And I kind of admired him. You know, he was an older man. He was the same age that my brother would have been at the time. And I felt really like immediately connected to him because of that. I didn't find him attractive in any way, but yeah, that was just basically it. And so over time, he became really close with my family. Like I said, he was over all the time to do laundry and for dinners and all of that. And he just kind of became a part of the family. And as much as I knew that like he was spending time with Lauren, he was spending more one-on-one time with Lauren than he was with me, I still felt like him and I would catch up occasionally. Like maybe I would be in his car going from church to brunch. We would catch up on life. And it became very clear to me that he kind of was living a very two-faced lifestyle. You know, in front of my parents, he would whip out the Bible verses and talk about, like he might talk about how he was struggling, but he wouldn't go into details. And then in private with me, when he would say he was struggling, that meant he was drinking a lot, having a lot of sex with women, and was basically out of control, was the way that I understood it to be. Like I remember this one time after church, we were on the way to brunch and I was in his truck and he's talking about what a wild weekend he's had and how drunk he got. And he opened up the center console of his car and there was like one of those boxed wines, but it was in a carton, like one that you just drink out of. He like almost like a look how cool I am. Like I have red wine in my car. It was very weird. But I kind of felt like he was a part of the family. I didn't feel incredibly close to him, but I still felt like he was a part of my life in a pretty big way. Mm-hmm. And the way that I saw my mom open up to a man who was younger, you know, like the age of my brother, it felt really good to me, honestly. It felt good to have someone in my life that my mom could look at as a son because she didn't really have it anymore. I felt safe being around him because he was basically okayed and like verified by my parents. So that's just kind of like the overarching vibe that I felt with him and I, and like our friendship and my relation to him, was that he was a safe person and that it was okay for me to spend time with him and trust him because my parents did.
I know we've mentioned this somewhat in past episodes, but like for context, Shannon's brother passed away.
Yes.
When we were in middle school. And so when she's talking about this stuff, like he genuinely felt like the son that, you know, your mom had lost.
Yeah. She didn't get to see grow up.
Yeah. And so like that's really fucking powerful. And I think that obviously he didn't like replace him or anything like that, but it was probably nice for your mom to kind of have that to some degree. And kind of off of that, did you feel that in any way, or for like, was there any of like, oh, it's like the older brother that like I had, but like I don't have anymore? Like, did you have that vibe, or was it only really your mom who felt like it was this?
I still felt like he was a brotherly figure in the sense that like I knew that if I had a really hard day or something and I needed someone to, like if I needed an escape from my parents, I knew I could call him and have him like take me out to get coffee. Like that wasn't something that we did, but I had a trust in him and a relationship from the standpoint of I knew he would never like replace my brother, but he felt like a brotherly figure in my life.
Right. Okay.
That's just backstory as far as like my relationship to him goes. So in May of 2019 at the Air Force Academy, they do this thing called a ring dance. And ring dance is basically like, I don't even know what it signifies. What does the ring signify?
I think it's only juniors, and it's some sort of rite of passage type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't really know what it actually signifies.
Yeah. It's a big event. Like they all get their like class ring, and every ring is different for each junior. Like it's only the junior years that get it. And, you know, they wear their uniforms, they have a big dinner, and they have a big party afterwards. And I need to say this very clearly. Well, I have two things. One, there's a lot of little things that I'm going to say that might not feel related to my assault, but I promise you they are. They're related to grooming. Later on, you'll see that they're related to the court case as a whole. So that's thing one. Thing two, I never felt attracted to Tyler. That's a really important detail. I respected him. I thought that he was like very suave and gentlemanly. And I thought, okay, those would be good features for for me to look for in a partner in the future. But I never felt like physically or sexually attracted to him at all, which might seem weird considering how great he seemed on paper, but I just wasn't. Anyways, so in May, they have the ring dance at the Air Force Academy. He had mentioned that he didn't really have anybody to go with and that he was kind of bummed because his friends had people to go with him. And I said, hey, if you want a friend to go, like, I'm super happy to go with you. Like, I'll get a dress, I'll do the whole thing. We'll have a great time as friends going together. And he had said, oh, yeah, maybe, I'm not super sure, I'll let you know. And I just said, hey, you need to make sure that you give me enough time so I can get a dress and be ready, because you can't just let me know a few days in advance. Like, that's not enough time for a girl to go to a function like this. Like, it's black tie attire. So he said, no, I found someone. I don't need you. And I said, no worries, totally fine. A few days before the ring dance, we're sitting in my basement and he goes, hey, so remember how I'd invited you to ring dance, but then I found somebody else and you had offered to go with me, but I had found somebody else, so you didn't need to go. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, that fell through.
He definitely did some fucked shit.
Yeah.
To that girl.
Probably. And I was like, oh. I was pissed from the standpoint of, hey, I told you to give me notice. It's 3 days before ring dance. I can't get a dress. I wasn't mad about the fact that I couldn't go to ring dance. I was upset because I wasn't going to be able to prepare in time. Like, you know, it was just a stupid, frustrating thing. I was like, dog, the fuck? Like, you should have told me earlier. But that blew over. He ended up finding someone else to go with. But he felt really bad. I don't know why he felt so bad, but he apologized multiple times over text to me, to my parents. And I kept saying, it's totally fine. It's not that deep. It was just annoying that you didn't ask me earlier. After that, I think that he began to grow some sort of interest in me because he asked me on a few dates.
Of course.
Oh, thank you. What is there not to like here?
But my point is that, like, this man was a, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, he always liked someone. He was always, like, sleeping with someone, always wanted someone. Like, there was always, constantly. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if he was like a sex addict. I don't know what it was, but it was so fucking constant.
Yeah. He always needed to have someone to go after. But so yeah, he started to grow a sort of interest in me. And I knew that because he was asking me on a fair amount of dates and trying to basically get me alone more often. And that was something new to me because most of the time we had spent just like around friends or family. And I had repeatedly said, yeah, no, not really interested in going out with you. Sorry, but like, thanks for the offer. And there was this one time where he said, hey, let's just grab coffee. Like, just grab coffee with me. And I said, sure, I'll take free coffee. I'm all here for free coffee.
We love free coffee.
And yeah, we set a date and a time and it was snowing outside. And I was like, this is perfect because you can pick me up, we can go grab coffee, and then you can drop me off at my friend's house that I'm staying at for the night. So Tyler picks me up. We are going on our coffee. He would probably call it a date. I would just call it a function. You know, we go to Dutch Bros, pick up coffee. It was my favorite coffee place at the time. It was super snowy. Didn't really feel like parking anywhere and going inside anywhere. So we get the coffee and then we found a parking lot just to sit in and like catch up. And during this time, he was talking about how he had been having a really hard time lately and how he had been like, which happened a lot. And how he had been sleeping with a lot of girls. And he would do this really interesting thing where I felt like he was shaming himself. And I have a theory about this.
Okay.
So, like I said, he was like on the outside, like a strong Christian. And, you know, he would see us really frequently. And then I would know that he would be going through a quote unquote hard time. And then he wouldn't talk to my parents for several days. And then when he would come out of those several days, he would say, I've been really studying the word, aka the Bible. You know, I've been really getting back into everything. And I have this theory that he would like sit in his room and read his Bible and like shame himself for sleeping with women or for assaulting women. Because I know that he slept with a lot of girls. And I'm not here to shame anyone for sleeping with a lot of people. But in that conversation that we had on that snowy night with the coffee, he was saying that he had only slept with a few people. Like he said the number of like 10. And I'd known this wasn't true. And I knew this wasn't true through one of our mutual friends. And I was like, that's not true. It's not true. And he was like, no, that's the number of women I've slept with. And I was like, that's literally not right. And I have this theory in hindsight that all of the women, he said, no, that's not true. Well, maybe I've slept with more people, but I just don't remember. And I have this theory that the people he doesn't remember sleeping with are all women that he's assaulted. That's just a theory. Any hoosers, we have this conversation. Very friendly conversation, catching up, talks about his hard time. I talk about my life, like friendly, whatever. He drives me to my friend's house. Before we go inside, I don't know exactly what happened, but I think he like leaned over to give a car hug and then he started kissing me.
Classic. That's his fucking move. Oh, can I have a hug? I'm so sad right now. Like, you don't understand, please.
Lauren is not fooled. And like, I kissed him back. And the kiss lasted about 10 seconds. I remember it was super forceful. There was a lot of tongue. And I vividly remember that he pulled my hair in this kiss. A 10-second kiss over the car, console doesn't feel like the time to pull someone's hair. But it was weird. I pulled away and I don't remember exactly what I said, but I know it was something along the lines of like, dog, what? Like, it was just a confusion thing. I would consider that a consensual kiss. I mean, he didn't ask me for it, but I kissed him back. It was just kind of one of those weird things of like, I don't know where in his head the wires got crossed where he felt like it was okay to kiss me. But yeah, yes, ma'am.
But also, let's be real. How many of us have like randomly kissed our like good guy friends?
Yeah.
I have. It never happened again, but like sometimes
it just happens.
It just happens. Like you're a little confused. Maybe you're like, wow, like we're really good friends and like we get along really well. I don't know. Like he's, and then you do, and you're like, wow, that was weird. I never want that to happen again.
And it was just one of those things of like, okay, that can be left there. And then we walked inside. Like he carried my bags in. Once again, gentlemen, that was the end of that. Not to be spoken about. So then flash forward a few months from there. Now we're in like fall, winter, like October season. And we're still in 2019. He's still 24 years old. And he had come over for a Bible study at my house. And I think we had dinner too. And he started driving back to the academy and the roads were so bad that he ended up turning around and coming back to my house and asking my parents if he could stay the night because the roads were so bad. They must have been really fucking bad because this person had a really good car and always prided himself on his ability to drive in the snow.
He had a 4-wheel Toyota Tundra truck.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are better cars for the snow.
I don't know. I don't know much about cars, but yeah, any hoosers. So my parents said that he could stay the night. They had him sleep on the floor in our, like, we have a kitchen and a living room, all like open space. And they had him sleep on the floor, not even on the couches, on the floor, like where the coffee table is. Because one of my best friends was staying with me at the time. And my parents didn't want him anywhere near her. That's a story for a different day. But as I was saying, he stays the night. I'm like, cool. I don't give a fuck. It's my bedtime. Nighty night, chicas. See you whenever I see you. I go to bed. I wake up at 4 a.m. to the Snapchat ding, like the old notification. Actually, does it still have the notification to like,
I don't know. I don't have my notifications on.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, I wake up at 4 a.m. to a Snapchat notification from Tyler. And not even a text message, a snap message, which was weird because he had my phone number. Like, why would you Snapchat me? And a snap message that says, hey, can I come say goodbye to you? And I said, no, it's 4 a.m. I have my retainer in and I have my pimple cream on. I don't need to say goodnight to you or goodbye to you. I go back to sleep. I wake up to someone opening my door. Who's opening my door, you might ask? Tyler. Tyler opens my door.
And you literally had been like, no, don't.
Yeah, I literally said, don't come say goodbye.
Like, it's 4 in the fucking morning. Like, I'm half asleep. Like,
yeah.
I don't. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah,
also, why the fuck is he leaving at 4 in the morning?
I don't know. I don't know that either. Probably to go shame himself. Who knows? Any users. So I wake up to him coming into my room. And I sleep in my underwear. I think everyone should sleep in their underwear. I think it's the most freeing thing. So he's coming into my room. I am like half asleep, half awake. I am startled by him coming into my room. And he's like, I just came in to say goodbye. And I go, I literally told you not to say goodbye to me. And he goes, oh, well, I'm already here. So he comes and he walks towards me and he gives me a hug. Now, you're probably thinking, how does he give you a hug? You're like laying down. Well, he like, literally, the way that a mom would pick up a child, like a baby out of the crib where they like put their arms underneath the shoulders to like lift them up, He literally did that and like pulled my torso up out of the bed, and I'm naked. So I like took the covers and just kind of like covered them over my boobs. And then his head like started going towards my lips, and I just like moved my head away.
Ugh,
and
God,
I said,
what a fucking creep.
I said, okay, you can go now. And it was a really weird moment, especially because I was not really awake yet. It was dark.
But he also, like, the fact that he didn't just simply listen to the fact that you were like, no, do not come into my fucking room. The fact that he couldn't even respect that, which is such a simple request. Mm-hmm. Like, he asked you and you were like, no. Why the fuck did you even ask me if you weren't even going to listen to what my answer was? Like, fuck you. Like, that's just creepy.
Most reasonable people would not do that.
Yeah.
But, so I kind of brushed it off. Once again, I just felt like I don't need to say this to my parents. You know, they might not like him after this, and they really like him and they really appreciate him. So I'm just not going to say anything about it. It's probably just a misunderstanding. Everything's fine. Totally brushed it off. Totally put it under the rug. And, you know, if you've heard Lauren's story, and now you're listening to this, you might be thinking, holy shit, like there was all these warning signs. There were so many warning signs. But what you don't understand, at least not yet, is the capacity at which serial rapists have to manipulate people and the power that they can have over people and the way that they can mind fuck you and fuck you, actually just rape you, but the way they can mind fuck you into thinking that you are the crazy one, that this isn't a big deal and that you shouldn't tell your parents because they love him. And it's hard to explain, but the way that he had groomed me and Lauren and my entire family, and frankly, my friend group, was pretty incredible. But it happened over time spent with them, emotional rapport building, vulnerability, and all of that put together with my parents' loss, my mom's loss of a son, and everything, and how he was so respectful was the perfect storm for a situation like this.
Yes. And also, not to mention, I know we've talked about this before, but in our investigation alone, they found multiple women outside of us that had been assaulted by him, and their stories were remarkably similar. So it wasn't like he had just done this to us. Like, he had manipulated and used his like sociopathic tendencies to do this to other women as well. And so there was an extreme pattern over and over and over again. And I'm sure that there are like other girls out there too that were not found that this happened to as well. And so like this was like so far beyond like what we could have ever imagined. Yeah. Like this was like some like movie shit. You know, like you see like crazy shit like this happen in like movies or TV shows where like a guy acts like this and like, but you're like, oh, like that's just make believe. That like that could not happen in real life. And so when you're living something like that, like it is so hard to process that it could be something so terrible because you're like, no, that's like not real life.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
And as far as the pattern thing goes, you know, Lauren had talked about in her story that he used his sadness and his like saying he would hurt himself in order to get your sympathy and for you to spend time with him. And that happened with the other women that he assaulted that did come forward who were included in our court case. And we didn't even know them. So that's a clear sign of a pattern. And even some of the things that he said that I'm about to go into to me, he had said to other women that he sexually assaulted, which is, once again, just fucking crazy and definitely like a movie, and it's a sad movie. But it just goes to show this person was a mass manipulator who was super good at grooming people, and he had a clear pattern. But we just didn't see it because we were blinded by the fact of how good of a manipulator he was. Okay, so that happened. Flash forward to November. The week of November 12th, I think. My parents were out of town. I don't know where they were. I don't know why they left me. But I was a rebellious child. I was kind of a partier. I partied kind of whenever I could. I got in trouble constantly, all the time. I was getting grounded, phones taken away. I was in trouble all the fucking time. So my parents leave, and obviously, any 18-year-old girl, when their parents are out of town, what are you going to do? What do we do, Lauren?
Well, I would have done nothing.
But I decided, yeah.
Well, also, let's keep in mind that you have had like a strict kind of upbringing where
Yeah.
there was no room for having fun or drinking or anything like that at all. You were also like an elite athlete, like you were training all the time. Like there was just no room for that ever. So I think that once you kind of got to an older age, naturally, as a lot of people do when they are under kind of strict parents, they just, any chance they have to drink or have fun or party, they take because
They go hard.
Because they know that they're not going to have that opportunity for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's what you did.
This is one of my opportunities. So my parents were gone for the week, and, you know, I'm a freshman in college, but I'm living at home because I was still ice skating at the time. And I actually was not ice skating during this time, though, because I had been injured. I think I was like just getting back on the ice from I had just been getting back on the ice. I had a really bad ankle injury. But so like this specific week, I wasn't really skating. Not really. So parents gone. I invite my 3 best guy friends over. These boys were kind of trouble. Like I was hooking up with one of them at the time. The other 2 were just good friends. We had a lot of fun together, but we were definitely like party people. Like we weren't emotionally close people. We just had a lot of fun. So for about 3 days straight, I am binge drinking. I am having sex. That's pretty much it. I'm literally drinking all day. I am drinking all night. I'm just staying up late, waking up at whatever time I want. Like I'm unhinged because also there's cameras outside my house. So I couldn't if I'm drinking, I can't leave the house. Like I'm dialed in. Mm-hmm. So I just kept going. 3-day bender, essentially. I'm really sorry, Mom. I hope you're not listening to this. On night 3 of the bender, I'm in my room doing something. And I hear these 3 boys starting to fight in my living room. And then all of a sudden, I hear a really big crash.
Oh, no.
And I just think, fuck, no. I go out there and I see that these 3 boys have broken my front door. One of them had pushed the other one into it. And my front door was made of glass, but over the glass, I had these like wooden slats, almost like wooden shades that you could close or open. And the shades were all fucked up. Like they were not fixable. One had broken completely in half. Another one was like dangling. I could not fix it. There was no way on this earth that I could cover it up. And I started to freak the fuck out because I thought, holy shit, my mom's going to find out. I've had 3 boys over to my house for 3 days and we were drinking and I'm just going to get in so much trouble. The next day, the boys leave and I start brainstorming. How can I get out of this? What sort of cover story can I come up with so that I don't have to tell my mom what I was actually doing during this time? And I think, Tyler, this is perfect. The wooden shades were way too broken for me to say that I had fallen into them. Like that is just purely not believable. So I call Tyler and I say, hey, this is a situation. This is what happened. I'm really freaking out. What do I do? And he's like, well, how about I come over and I just tell your mom that I broke the shades?
Like, why did he have to come over?
You and the defense attorney just fucking loved this question.
No. Like, I'm not. Why did he come over, Shannon? No. I just mean like he clearly saw this as an opportunity to spend one-on-one time with you.
Yeah.
And he just like snatched that up as fast as he could.
But the other thing really is like, did he really need to come over to fabricate the story?
Exactly.
And
that
the
was
answer
my point.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Because I was a kid who grew up with very strict parents, at least from like a quote unquote normal socialist perspective, I was really good at fabricating stories and lying. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. But I was because I wanted to be able to keep doing the things that I was doing without getting caught. And I have cameras outside my house. My mom would see if he had come over or not. So it wasn't an option to say that he had just come over, but not actually have him over.
Because they could check the cameras or see that and be like, well, he never showed up. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And for anyone asking about how I got the 3 boys in, I had a sneaky way, okay? But I wasn't going to sneak Tyler in because there was no need to sneak Tyler in because Tyler was the only man that my mom would trust me to have over alone, especially when they were out of town.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always those people.
Yeah, which is why he was the perfect scapegoat for this story.
Yeah.
Because he was big enough, he was tall enough to have like fallen over, putting his shoes on and ran into fall over into the door and break it.
Yeah.
And my mom wouldn't be mad. You know why? Because she fucking loves him and she would be totally fine with him coming over. So on the phone call, Tyler says he is all in to fabricate the story. He's like, no problem. Things get get going. He texts my mom, says, hi, I would love to catch up with Shannon. She was wondering if it was okay if I came over for dinner, like just chat for an evening. I text my mom, hey mom, is it okay if Tyler comes over? She's like, yep, totally fine. No worries. Like she didn't even say, don't do anything bad. It was just...
Because there's that much trust in this man.
Yeah, which is crazy. Because even when I would have girlfriends over when my parents were out of town, she would say, you know, like no drinking, don't do this, don't do that.
Like she just couldn't even fathom him bringing alcohol into the house, bringing anything bad into the house, doing anything bad. Like he was just such a perfect angel child that it would nothing like that could ever possibly happen in her eyes.
The day comes where I'm going to have him over, and I drive all the way to the Air Force Academy. It was like 25 minutes away from my, I think 25 minutes away from my house, because he had said that he had sold his car at this time.
Really?
Yes.
Did he actually?
I don't know. I
sold
thought
his car. Why would he have sold? Why would he have sold? Why would he have sold his car?
I have no idea. I don't know. It was weird. But yeah. So he had sold his car, or he'd given it to a friend. I'm about 95% sure that he had said he had sold it at this time, because I had to pick him up.
Interesting.
So I drove all the way there. I pick him up, and I make him drive on the way back to my house because I am exhausted. Don't forget, I've had a 3-day bender. Shandog is tired. As we're driving, he says that he's had like a long week, and he's like, I kind of want a beer. And I'm like, sure, fucking stop for a beer. For all I care, it's none of my business. We stop right before he goes into the liquor store. He goes, do you want anything? And I just said, surprise me. I stayed in the car. He goes in. He comes out with a 12-pack of assorted White Claws.
That's not a beer.
That is not a beer. You're very right, Lauren. So then we drive to my house. When we first walk in the door, he immediately goes, like, I made it really clear, like, this is a very casual dinner. If you couldn't tell by my appearance, like, think about those times where you haven't washed your hair in 7 days, you've been on a bender, you haven't showered.
Like, you are, like, the shittiest you look.
Yeah, not cute shitty. I'm talking gross shitty. That was me, okay? I was wearing, like, my bad pair of sweatpants because, like, I had gone through my other ones. I had gotten them dirty, covered in Svedka, mango flavored, who knows. Anyways, so we go in the house. I made it super clear this is a casual thing. Like, he was going to make his own food. I was going to make my own food. He immediately goes to the kitchen, starts making food. I go to my room. I change my sweatpants. I don't know why. I just did. I just wanted a different pair. I go into the kitchen. He's making a sandwich. I'm making myself pesto pasta, like a eloquent woman. We start talking. And as we're talking, he is going on and on about how he wants a girlfriend so badly. Someone, this is so vivid in my head, someone to come home to. Someone that he can rub their feet. That's a very specific sentence, okay? Someone that he can just love and care for and pour into. And I'm just like...
Do you think he's found that in prison?
I don't even know what to respond to that.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. But the point is like, we're having this conversation, and I am just sitting there like, you know, you're going to find that one day, Tyler. You're a great guy. Like, you're totally going to find that one day. It's just not now. It's just not now. Being very supportive. And as we're talking, he takes all of the White Claws out of the box and lines them up by flavor. Weird. Really fucking weird.
That's really fucking
really weird. And throughout dinner, I drank 1.5 White Claws. And I just kind of decided, you know, I'm good. I've been on a 3-day bender. I don't really feel very good. Like,
I don't need to get hammered tonight.
I don't need any more alcohol in my life. And ultimately, we decide to go downstairs and play a game of pool. Love pool. All here for it. He grabs all of the rest of the White Claws, like in his arm, like a little... How would you describe this?
Claw.
Like a little claw. He just picks them all up in his arm and carries them down the stairs. And I just think, that's weird, but whatever. None of my business. We get down there, and we're picking out pool sticks. And these are all really niche details that maybe don't matter.
But like if... As a guy, if you are like, I'm going to fucking grab every single one of these White Claws and bring them downstairs with this girl, you're probably hoping that she'll drink more of them, get fucked up, and then you'll have an easier time getting lucky.
Maybe. Yeah, there you go. There's the male perspective. Thank you, Lauren. So he carries the White Claws down. We're picking out our pool sticks. And he goes, oh, let's just share one. And I say, no. That's weird. I want my own pool stick.
Multiple pool sticks. Why the fuck would you share one?
Exactly. These are all just like little weird niche moments that in hindsight I think are interesting. So we're playing pool, and like I had said earlier, upstairs I'd had 1.5 White Claws. I felt like I was done drinking. I brought that other half with like downstairs with me, and I was still kind of sipping on it. And he goes, Shannon, finish your White Claw like a woman. And I, in my head, thought, I don't need to prove my drinking abilities to anybody. Like,
but also, like, why are you... He was, like, pushing for you to drink more verbally.
Yeah.
Like, and he was even, like, basically saying, like, you're a little bitch if you don't finish that. Like, come on.
Yeah, and I don't fuck with people calling me a little bitch. So guess what Shannon did? I drank up to 5 White Claws. So I had 5 White Claws within, like, 2 hours of time, which is a lot of White Claws for somebody like me. But I fucking did it. You know why? Because I didn't like that comment. I don't even know if that's why. I fucking did it. But I didn't really feel that intoxicated. And I think this was due to the fact that I had been drinking so much the past few days that my tolerance was through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
And I say that I didn't feel that intoxicated because I think it's important to note that I wasn't not aware of what was going on. I was very present in what was happening. I wasn't stumbling. I wasn't slurring my words. I wasn't confused. I was very much there.
But even if, like, you had been hammered, that doesn't, like, change anything, right? Like, it's
True.
like, at the end of the day, like, you were raped. It doesn't matter if you were sober or intoxicated. And that's important because we tend to be like, well, she was drinking, so, like, maybe she just, like, you know, fuck you if you say that. Like,
so our few pool games come to an end, and I say, hey, I think you should text someone to pick you up because I definitely can't drive you. Like, well, even though I didn't feel that fucked up, I'm not driving after I've had 5 White Claws in, like, 2 hours. That's
good judgment. You're practicing good judgment.
Yeah. Well, and would you like to know how many White Claws he had drank?
3.
7.
Oh.
Yeah. So he got after it. The whole box was gone. But granted, he's also like 6'3", over 200 pounds. So like that's not 6'2", 6. However, he was tall. Yeah.
In my mind, he had like only like a few White Claws and was like fucked up.
I don't know. He didn't
But
seem.
Maybe I made that up.
He didn't seem fucked up. But yeah, I know the entire box was gone.
Okay.
Hi everyone, this is editing Shannon. I just wanted to pop in here really quickly because I remembered a detail while I was editing this that I had forgotten about when we were recording this. So Tyler had said that he was quote unquote barely buzzed. And this kind of just felt like a smaller key detail because, you know, we were talking about how we had thought that he, you know, maybe had drank less White Claws in order to quote unquote like take advantage of me. But at the end of the day, he was very clear that he was not overly intoxicated and not even close to being intoxicated or drunk by any level because he had said multiple times that he was barely buzzed. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled podcast airing program stuff.
But I said, hey, I think it's really important that you call someone, text someone, have them pick you up because I'm not driving you.
So you like made it clear like you're not staying here. Like this is just like you were fucking leaving.
Yeah. And I said, I'm really tired. I'm going to start getting ready for bed. Just like text someone. So I go upstairs. I'm washing my face. And as I'm washing my face, he's just standing in the doorway. He's not really talking to me. He's just standing in the bathroom doorway. I don't really think much of it. It's whatever. Finished washing my face. And my routine at this time in my life was I always picked up my room before going to bed. Wow, I should really implement that now because my room is a fucking mess all the time. But I'm picking up my room and I asked him, like he was sitting on the stool in the corner of my room. And I said, hey, like, did you text someone to have them pick you up? And he said, yeah, they're on their way. And I said, cool, great. Thanks for doing that. And as I'm picking up like one piece of clothing and I'm bringing it across the room, he grabs me by the waist and he like pulls me in and he tries to kiss me. And I say, no, Tyler, we're not doing this. And that might seem like
that sounds like a lot like what I said.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I think the reason I said we're not doing this, I think that's a reflection. Like, I think I literally said it like that because it felt like the least controversial way to say no. And because we did kiss one time before, like many months prior to this. Mm-hmm. So that felt just like the best way to say it. And it just came out, no, Tyler, we're not doing this. And he had still kind of been like grabbing onto my waist at this time. I felt uncomfortable. I was just a little bit confused. We end up going out into the living room. We're sitting on the couch. On the couch, leans in, tries to kiss me again. I say, no, Tyler, we're not doing this. And I think he did kiss me, but it was like a fast, like I didn't reciprocate. And I remember feeling very confused at this time because I had said, no, Tyler, we're not doing this twice now. And he did kiss me, and he kept trying to kiss me after that.
So he just wasn't respecting your boundaries, what you were saying. Like, you were like, we're not doing this isn't happening. But he was just like, in his mind, no, we're this is happening. You know, like exactly. He was determined. And it sounds like maybe he was determined from the beginning of the night, you know, buying all those White Claws, bringing them downstairs,
telling me to drink them.
Yeah.
The conversations about wanting a girlfriend, all of it. Yeah.
Like he was trying to like plant things like along the way.
Yeah. So then I made my way, you know, we're on the couch, he tried to kiss me. I make my way to the kitchen. He follows me into the kitchen, and I had kind of moved swiftly into the kitchen. It wasn't like I was sprinting away from him, but I was trying to create some distance between him and me. I go into the kitchen, he follows me and grabs me by the waist again, tries to kiss me. I don't remember if he did or not, but I do remember for a fact that I said, no, Tyler, we're not doing this.
So this is like three times you've like moved away from him, been like, no, like you're actively now physically avoiding this man and he's just like following you around.
Yes. So then somehow back on the couch. This is a part of the story where I feel really confused, and like defense really tried to nail me on this. Like they kept questioning me about it. They were like, well, how did you get from the kitchen to the couch? And I don't know. I probably walked there. I have no idea.
But what did you do? Fucking float?
Well, I don't know. But the point is like, it's not important. The defense made it really important.
But that's what they do, right? It's never about the actual assault. It's about everything else around it.
Right. Back on the couch. Tyler tries to kiss me again.
So now we're at 4.
Yeah. No, Tyler, we're not doing this.
Okay.
He grabs me and he like puts me on his lap. So I'm like facing him. Like he's sitting on the couch. I would be like, basically, it was kind of like straddling him, but that's like how he put me there. And tries to kiss me. I think he does. I don't really know. And I say, no, Tyler, we're not doing this. And he gets up, like he just picks me up, like directly, like he stands up and picks me up simultaneously. Like there is no fudging, budging. Don't forget, this guy is very strong. And carries me all the way to my room. I would say my room was like 15 feet away, maybe. I don't know. But it carries me all the way to my room. And I remember saying, no, Tyler, I know it seems like a joke, but we're really not doing this. Like, this is not a joke. We're not doing this. So now
you're like actually starting to kind of panic. Like you're like, oh shit, like this is bad.
Yeah. And this is, I think, the last moment where I felt super conscious of what was going on. Like I felt very frustrated that he wasn't listening to me. And I felt very confused as to why my no wasn't enough. But I wasn't in panic mode until he had picked me up and carried me to my room.
Especially because, for the most part, this was someone you have always trusted. And so in your mind, you were like, okay, like, yeah, this is maybe weird, but like, I trust him.
Right.
He's never given me a reason not to. So, you know.
Yeah. Carries me to my room, and he puts me on like the longer side of the bed on my back, and like my feet are kind of dangling off the bed, but like my torso's on the bed. And I said one last time, no, Tyler, we're not doing this. So this is like number 7, I think. Number 7, no. And from there, I remember that I was wearing a quarter zip. He took my quarter zip off. He took this was my favorite Calvin Klein bra I was wearing. And I remember it so vividly because it was painted all over the fucking courtroom all the time about my Calvin Klein sports bra and how hard it must have been to take off. And there's no way that he could have taken it off, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I just get a little fired up.
But just like, once again, that pisses me off. It should not matter what the fuck you were wearing or...
Well, they were just confused about how it got taken off
my body. But also, like,
body.
It's like one of those classic Calvin Klein bras that, frankly, like, they're not super fucking tight.
No, they get, and especially over time, like I had this bra for a long time.
Yeah, like the band, like mine are so stretched out that like that thing could just like slip off of me.
Yep. So he took off my quarter zip. He took off my bra. I think he took off his shirt and pants next. I'm not really sure of the order. Took my pants off. But the point is I'm just laying there. He took off all of my clothes. He took off all of his clothes. I didn't assist, I didn't help. I wasn't even saying no anymore at this point because I had said it so many times before and it wasn't heard before.
So yeah,
it wasn't going to be heard then.
I
just given up and I froze. And I remember he bit my ear. I remember he like kissed my neck. I remember he like put his fingers inside of me. I remember he put his tongue inside of me. And I remember all of that being really short. Like it wasn't like I'm going to give you head. I'm going to finger you.
And like
this is going to be enjoyable.
Good. Yeah.
Like it was just like finger, tongue. Okay, let's go. And then like he put his penis inside of me. And I just remember so clearly looking at the place where the wall meets the ceiling and like just staring at it like the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just me staring at the wall, then met the ceiling, and this person just fucking me without my consent, just fully assaulting me. And I just felt frozen. I remember I was reading my testimony earlier today and I'd said that I felt like cement. Like I just felt so frozen and so unmovable. And it just was my body trying to survive is what I think it was. Mm-hmm. I think my brain was so overwhelmed with what was going on that it just did its best to try to cope and try to protect itself and just it shut down. I also remember in this moment, I remember feeling like it hurt and like I wasn't ready for it to happen. Like that's a really specific memory.
Like your vagina wasn't wet. Like it
right.
just like was that horrible feeling of just fucking shoving a rough ass
cock
up your vagina.
Yeah.
And that is painful.
Yeah. It was, yeah, it just, like I can't express enough how I just felt so not physically ready for it. Eventually, it ends. Like it sucked. Like I don't want to say like the only position, but like literally the whole time I was halfway on the bed and he was doing everything because I was just laying there. One might say like a starfish, but sorry, that's fucked. Sorry. But it's sad. Like it really is. Like that makes me really sad. And if anybody's going to say like, you didn't fight back, blah, 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 blah.
Most women don't.
Most women don't.
Most people don't.
Also, I think it's really unfair to expect someone, especially yourself, to fight back against someone who wouldn't listen to a verbal word of no. It's really hard to think that in that moment of extreme fear where your brain is just trying to survive, that you can do something such as like kick them, punch them, scream. Like it really doesn't matter if I had screamed. No one would have heard me. Like it really doesn't matter. And yeah, it would have been great if my body didn't freeze, but that was my natural reaction and it just was.
But it's like, you could say a natural reaction, but it's just something so unnatural that I don't think your body knows how to respond to that and to deal with that. And that's kind of just a reality. And I think that when we're looking at sexual assault cases, that should just be a norm. And that should just be something that's known instead of using the defense of like, well, you didn't punch him in the face. You didn't scream at the top of your lungs. And that's always used. And every fucking court case I have looked at, that is always used against them. And that's just not fair. You can bring psychologists up there and talk about how like that's not a normal reaction. That doesn't really happen to them a lot. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, it's just not taken seriously. And I think that is just fucked.
Like even our prosecution team asked me, why didn't you fight back? And the reason they asked me that was so that I could say, because he's so big, because I didn't believe that I would win, because I froze. Like it gave me an opportunity to say all those things, but it is something that is a part of a lot of cases. So then after he ejaculated, sorry.
Wait, I'm really sorry, but I just wanted to say this because that is something that I think is really, really interesting. And after all this happened with us, I started to learn how to fight. Mm-hmm. Like I went to an MMA gym. I was learning jiu-jitsu, like all that stuff.
I picked up boxing for 6 months.
Because I wanted my initial reaction to be to fight. And now when people come towards me too fast, my initial reaction is literally to hit them. Mm-hmm. And I have literally hit people because I didn't like the way that they were coming towards me. But that's sad. That shouldn't be my natural reaction, is to hurt someone or hit someone. But now it is, because I forced my body into that because of the fact that I didn't fight back.
There you go.
Sorry. I totally interrupted you.
No, you don't need to apologize. You're good.
Continue.
So after that, he ejaculated inside me. I think it's a really important key detail. It sounds particularly gross when it's not consensual. Anyways, so he did that. And the first thing that happened is I immediately became unfrozen. I popped right up and I said, "What the fuck? Tyler, I never wanted to have sex with you, and I'm not on birth control." That was the first thing that came out of my mouth. I grabbed my bathrobe and I'm freaking out. I'm saying lots of fuck, what the fuck? Why the fuck did this happen? I don't fucking understand. Why the fuck did you do this? I am aggressive. Right now, my fight is starting to kick in. And I'm putting on my bathrobe, I'm peeing, I'm yelling all this stuff. Not yelling, but my voice is raised and very aggressive. And this motherfucker is crying. And he's like, I've never had sex with someone who wasn't on birth control. What are we going to do? I didn't know you didn't want to do this. He's just beside himself. And the biggest thing that he kept repeating was, "I've never had sex with someone who wasn't on birth control." And I was like, I didn't want to have sex with you. I didn't want to have sex with you. And also, I couldn't believe that he was so concerned about the birth control part. I wasn't concerned with the fact that he had literally just raped me.
Yeah. That's what he cared about.
He cared about the fucking baby that he might have put inside of me. But he didn't think about the fact that I never even asked him to take his fucking clothes off or kiss me or put a hand on me.
Yeah. Well, that's because you can't have any dependents at the Air Force Academy.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that.
So he was probably just thinking about himself
Yeah.
and his future. But he didn't realize he had just completely fucked himself in a whole different way.
Yeah. But the thing is that I think is particularly interesting is that if you were having consensual sex with someone, you would know if they were on birth control. You would know if you should wear a condom. You would know if you should pull out or not. I think that most women on this earth would probably agree that the first time you're having sex with someone, it's not really chill to not wear a condom and come inside of you, with no discussion. That's not chill.
That's not
or
cool.
normal. And that's not consensual. So,
even if it is consensual sex, fucking talk about it. Don't just come inside them. Ask if that's okay. Ask if they're on birth control. Please.
It's also just a safety precaution for not safety, but let's not accidentally impregnate people. You know what I mean? Let's just be careful the best we can. There's protection for a reason. You should have these conversations to avoid unwanted pregnancies and things like that.
Yeah, we already have enough of an overpopulation problem. You don't need to add to that.
Yeah. So after this, when I came out of the bathroom, I'm still saying words. He's still wailing about whatever. And he's putting his shoes on and he's like, "I'll just go." And I'm like, "Yeah, get out. Get the fuck out of my house." And he's talking about how he's probably going to have to walk home because his friend isn't there yet. And I did not care at all. I just said, "Get out." I let him out of my garage. And now I know that somebody from the Air Force Academy did eventually pick him up. They said that Tyler's demeanor was very sad and just quiet, and that he ended up sleeping in the car of the person that picked him up. He didn't go back to his dorm. He just stayed in the car, in the parking lot, in the cold, just asleep, which weird. So while he's doing that, I immediately called Lauren, because I realized right after it happened, I'm crying, I'm wailing. I really remember sitting on the toilet and just feeling if the walls could peel fucking down, they would. I thought everyone could hear me cry. It was a really horrible moment because I realized what had just happened and how, holy shit, this thing that I thought wasn't that common just happened to me. I thought it could happen to other people, but not me. Mm-hmm. And here it is happening to me. I called Lauren because I thought, that was the moment where I realized, this is why she hates Tyler. I get it. This has to be it. He must have done this to her. I just knew. It's we were twins and we have a little instinct almost, Call Lauren. She doesn't answer. I call one of my best friends from home. I talk to her. She tells me that I need to go to a hospital. I call two of my other friends. They take me to the hospital. I go. I get a rape kit done. If you want more information on that, I did an episode on it.
Nice.
Excuse me. I did an episode on it a while ago. I think it's called Rape Kits something something. An interesting detail that I think is particularly remarkable was after I got my rape kit done. So I didn't know this. I learned this during court because I had completely, fully wiped this from my memory, which I think really speaks to the state of mind that I was in post-assault, post-SANE exam. So I had my SANE exam done. My 2 friends had asked me, like, do you want to go back to our house? And I said, no, just take me home. Just take me home. And, like, I had thought that I had just gone back to their house and slept there. Like, immediately from the hospital to their house.
Okay.
That's not true.
Okay.
They had taken me home because I guess that I had just, like, said, I really want to go home. I really want to go home.
Right.
And I got home. I started, like, getting ready for bed. And I think I got into bed. And I just was like weeping. And I texted them and I said, I'm coming to your house. And then I got in my car and I drove to their house. I have 0 recollection of driving to their house. Like literally no recollection. But I know that my car was there because when I woke up the next day, my car was at my friend's house. They didn't drive my car because I drove in their car.
Yeah.
But I think that's crazy to me that
Your mind will just black
Like,
things out like that.
just fully gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the rest of that story is just that 2 days later, I had a therapy appointment. My therapist told me I needed to tell my mom. I told my mom. About a week after that, I ended up going to the Air Force Academy to do a full Office of Special Investigations interview. There you go. Something I just feel like saying was that I was really nervous about this episode. And I felt nervous because I felt like, what if I get like a detail wrong? Like, what if something's wrong and then like, I don't know, people like scold me about like, well, that's not bad enough, or that like, is that really how it happened? That's kind of a weird thing. Like, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that? Like, I think I was just worried about like judgment in general, as well as like saying my story wrong. But as we preach on here, like, you're not going to get every detail right. It's still your story. At the end of the day, it still happened to me. If it happened to you, I'm so sorry. But you don't have to get every detail right because it's just your story. You're doing your very best. I told the story to the best of my ability, to the most accurate of my ability. Mm-hmm. And if you don't believe me, fuck you. Sorry. I'm feeling a lot of things right now.
That's normal. I think what I would just say, and oftentimes they do bring psychologists in to talk about these in trials because, you know, memory is a weird thing. And when you go through something traumatic, you don't remember things maybe like exactly how they happened, but who the fuck does? Who remembers every single goddamn like play by play of exactly what happened to them? No one does. No one. And this is years removed. This happened years ago. You're not going to remember every 2019 fucking thing. And also, like, your brain has probably blocked out a lot. Mm-hmm. And that's totally normal. That's totally okay. And that doesn't take away your credibility in any single way, no matter what anyone says. And so, like, for anyone, it's really important that we learn to understand that there are people out there who are just hateful and rude and mean and are going to try to tear you apart. And frankly, that shouldn't steer you away from like owning your shit. Because fuck those people. Mm-hmm. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know what happened to you. They don't know your story. They don't know you.
They weren't there.
They weren't there. So,
yeah. I realized today that Tyler was 24 when he sexually assaulted me, and I was 18.
So he was 5 years older than you.
So that's 6.
6 years older than you.
6.
I can't do math.
And I don't have any tea or shade to people who are in relationships or sleeping with older people or younger people as long as it's consensual. That is none of my business. But it feels particularly icky to know that this person was a senior in college. Yeah, senior in college. And I was a freshman in college. And that he was older than a typical senior in college.
Yeah,
like,
by
it
like 2
feels
years. Like, he knew that he had this, like, weird power play over you. This weird, like, seniority over you.
Right.
Like, he could use it to his advantage.
Yeah. So just like we did in Lauren's episode, I'm going to leave you with the charge list. And it might feel weird that I'm doing that, but I'm doing it because it feels like the end of this story and the beginning of trial. Alleged victim number 3, SP, 15 November 2019. As pertains to SP, the accused is charged with the following misconduct: providing alcohol to her while she was a minor, charge 1 specification, and penetrating her vulva with his penis and finger, and causing contact between his mouth and tongue and her vulva, all allegedly without her consent. Charge 2 specifications 2 through 4 on 15 November 2019. So with that, like we had said, there was other people involved in our case, but the maximum punishment that this person, Tyler, could have gotten was he would have had to forfeit all pay and allowances. So that's, he gets to go to Air Force Academy for free. He would have had to pay all of that back. He would have gotten a dismissal from service, like a dishonorable discharge. And the maximum years in prison would have been 45 years and 6 months.
But as we all know, no rapist ever gets that many years.
Never.
So
thank you to everyone for listening to my story. I know it was heavier, but I really appreciate you being here and being with me and just getting all vulnerable with me. In the future, Lauren and I, and we don't know exactly how close of episodes, but we are going to talk about cross-examination and potentially direct examination as well, to really give you guys sort of a more in-depth view of the stories that we told and how much they can get misconstrued through the court process.
yeah, and how they just kind of showed up throughout court.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for once again listening to this episode, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.